Hey, just double checking. You cleared your calendar for dinner tomorrow night, right? I'm dying to go to that new place. Like, I can't. Oh, sorry. Dinner tomorrow? Me. Yeah! Okay.
What?
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was close. Mara. Oh no! What is happening?
Oh my god, are you okay?
Mara, what channel is the stream on?
Mine!
You rampant slag.
Welcome everyone, and I see that super sticker, Mr. Text, appreciate it. It's going to be, I don't know if the entire stream is going to be unsupervised, or if Steph's going to make an appearance. I did not watch her, I did not have a chance to watch her gaming stream. I was with family pretty much most of the afternoon, but I imagine it was something like this, with playing with this brew. Basically imagine Steph is Hey Hey in this clip. I'd imagine it was like that. Anyway, but welcome everyone. Like I said, it's going to be unsupervised, at least for most of it. We'll see. She might make an appearance. It depends on what she's able to, able to or not. Steph would make a horrible R2DC. Yeah, she. I love her, but she would. She would. But I have a few things to talk about. So we'll see where the evening takes us. I also have my Bloody Mary, which I'm going to open and pour some into a glass. I figured, you know what, if I'm going to be unhinged, I might as well have alcohol. And I will say hello to the chat in a little bit. But some of the topics I have to talk about. Sweet. Blade has been kind of subsequently been both canceled and not canceled, if the rumors are true, basically. If the rumors are true, a Solo Blade movie has been canceled. But Blade might make an appearance in another Marvel property. So it's, who knows, it's anyone's guess. Godzilla Minus Zero has got an official release date. I got a little bit of James Gunn news as he's talking about what the Supergirl movie is based on. Let's see, the Hunt for Gollum movie. A movie that should not be made, but we're getting anyway. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Absolute Batman, I have not read it, but Scott Snyder has said, and I think this is kind of stupid in how he words this, and how readers really want stories that feel urgent, quote-unquote urgent, and speak to the hardships that people are facing right now. We're going to go into my little opinion about that, because I don't know if that's exactly what he means to say, but at the same time, it's like, if that is what he means to say, it's kind of stupid. It is pretty much stupid. And you have, apparently there's a new Lord of the Rings game, at least possibly possibly going to be greenlit and in the works, that's supposed to compete with Hogwarts Legacy, according to the news that's coming out. We'll see. Apparently, there's also an adaptation of The Raven. Now, we'll see what the adaptation is like, but it's apparently, from what I saw on Twitter, Tony Todd's last film. So, and that's supposed to come out actually this coming weekend, so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But before I go into the news, let me say hello to everyone in the chat. If I miss anyone, I do apologize, because I'm backtracking. Oh, God, I have pet fur. But bring on the cringe. Just a little bit of cringe. Hopefully a little bit of positive stuff as well. But welcome, Trey. Anthony. That's the kind of the semi New Year's resolution I made on the first Talk Nerdy, and that is once a month. If she can't watch one movie a month, I'm sorry. There's something wrong with that. But she has to watch a movie of my choosing a month, and she's supposed to use this month to watch Strangers on a Train. Sorry, Strangers on a Train is the first movie. Now, trust me, I'm going to have a very comprehensive list for her. I've got Trey's. We were doing a watch party last night. So she has to watch the original Airplane, the original Naked Gun. Well, I shouldn't say original Airplane, but Airplane, the original Naked Gun. I'm going to have her watch Heartbreak Ridge. There's classic movies like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Mildred Pierce, The Letter, Maltese Falcon. It's a good mystery movie. Maybe the first Thin Man movie. That's also a mystery movie, and so forth. So when I will have a comprehensive list. I will have a comprehensive list. Do not worry. By the next Talk Nerdy to Us, I most likely will have at least 2 pages of movies filled. Possibly more of movies that she needs to see. Actually, I would not recommend Gone with the Wind. If she wants to watch it, she can, Gravy. And it's not that it's a bad movie. It's that I don't like that it romanticizes the South. It very much romanticizes the South. So yeah, if I'm going to have her watch anything like that, in terms of, I'd say probably Lawrence of Arabia, or if she wants a good cry, Dr. Zhivago. That's not my thing, but maybe Dr. Zhivago. So yeah, my PayPal chat link, Cappy Nova, good to see you, and yes, I see Gravy in the chat. I don't know who that character is. I'm hoping that's a good thing, James, but if not, because I see the LOL at the end, we'll see. We'll see. DS Eagles, hello. Psychotic Mongoose, what is up? Soul Assassin, hello. Phil, what is up? Again, if I miss anyone, I do apologize. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anyone. Truth Warrior, good to see you. So I did start on time. So, Mr. Tex, hello. And don't worry, Mr. Tex, that man bat is not coming out of the box. So, my kill, what is up? Let's see. Real Joe Rosie, hello. Good to see you. Hope everything's doing well. Let's see. Nothing beats Blade 2 for you. I have a preference for the first Blade, but yeah, like Blade 1 and Blade 2, those are good, like 1s and 2s combo. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it because it gets to a, like, I don't know if it's going to be this weekend or not because my family was talking about doing another get-together thing because my mom's birthday is next week. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. Oh, I trust that it won't suck in 2026. Yeah, the absolute Batman thing. We'll talk a little bit about that. I'll talk a little bit about that. So let's see. Scott Snyder's a tool. Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like he's done some good books and then he opens his mouth. So it's like it's one of those like situations where it's like, yeah, just keep your mouth shut. Just keep your mouth shut. Hey, Susan Ronan. At least try not to say anything stupid. And unfortunately, that's I don't know. Anyway, Optimus, hello. As a Southerner, that doesn't bother me. Well, it's just like I've never really been a fan of it, and it's not like I'm critiquing in a way where it's like, you know, the woke crowd doesn't want to want to put trigger warnings in front of like certain movies. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not saying like, you know, everyone in the South was like a slave owner or anything like that. I know like not everyone. You know, I know that the Confederacy wasn't every Southerner, but at the same time, I'm like, just wasn't for me. Just not for me. So I probably wouldn't be recommending it to her. She can watch it if she wants to. That's just me. I don't think she's seen Airplane. I know she hasn't. I know she has not seen the original Naked Gun. I know that. So, so we'll see. Goodfellas. Yeah, I'd put. See, I don't know. The thing is, I'm going to put together a list, but for all I know, she could have seen some of these movies, like Godfather, Godfather 2, Goodfellas. So there is quite a bit. Patrick, what is up? Let's see. No, it's just I just don't. It looks so good, and I don't want to. I just don't want to take it out of the box. I've never been a collector's mindset or mentality, but it's one of those where it's even if I get any NECA figures, I'm probably not going to take them out of the box. Just because they look so good. It's not like the Funko Pop figures where it's like wouldn't really care. But NECA, McFarlane, wouldn't risk that. Snarky to Steph. Animal House, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if she's seen that. So. Yeah. So my dad before he finally decided on what he wanted to do, and he went into public relations. He was actually in seminary at Gettysburg. And 1 year, well, it's after seminary, we went to Gettysburg as like a family vacation, basically. And he was telling stories how one evening, this is when he was in seminary training. This is when he was in seminary training. So he was at the dorm, and then his dorm room, and another friend was in a room a little bit further down. And they were waiting for a couple of their friends to come back, and then they were going to go get something to eat. Right? And this is how my dad describes it, basically. He's at his desk, he's doing assignments, and he hears footsteps coming up the steps. So he's thinking, well, the guys are back, so I'm going to basically stop what I'm doing here, get my jacket on, and I'll basically open the door to meet them so we can just leave to go get something to eat. He opens his door. He sees down at the end of the hall his friend, who was also waiting for the two guys to come back, open his door, and there was no one on the steps. So it's not like if he had just heard it and opened the door, then you would chalk it up to I probably was hearing things, because it's it's an old building and so forth. In one of the buildings, basically, if you were to peel back the layers on the floor, you could see where they performed surgeries, because there would be dry blood and so forth, where they would perform surgeries on the soldiers. So yeah, but I'm saying but the friend heard it too, and he opened the door, and there was no one on the steps. So, oh yeah, it is haunted. Gettysburg is haunted. I want to go back there. I'd like to go back there at some point. She will be I don't know, she's she's busy doing something else, and she said she'll try to jump in. So she hasn't been fired, but I need to find out from her if she's done her assignment yet or not. So yeah. We did one of those ghost tours also as part of the vacation. So basically walked around the area, and there's hearing the story about the woman in white, people who would see kind of spectral images of Abraham Lincoln lying on a table after he's been shot and so forth. And it's just hearing noises of sounds like boots coming, walking down steps, walking up steps. So I want to go back. I love that stuff. So I love that stuff. When I was in France for a college trip, we went to, I can't remember where exactly we were, but one of the stories that the tour guide told us, it was was that there was a room that was haunted, basically, in this area. So if you would go down here, you would feel things and everything. And we were kind of paired up, kind of thing, and I was with my one friend, and I'm only saying my black friend because it kind of fed into the trope of how basically white people run towards danger and so forth, like in horror movies and things like that. Whereas like I heard it, and my immediate reaction was, "Let's go down these steps. Let's go to that room. Let's find this place." And like she's looking at me. It's like she's looking at me like basically like, are you out of your fucking mind? Because I was like gung ho. I wanted to go down those steps. I wanted to see if it was really haunted or not. So, and she's like, no. Like you, like what is? So she's like looking at me like, what the fuck is it with you white people? So yeah. Yeah, I wanted to see it. Anyway, let's talk some nerdy news, shall we? Let's get through the cringe first, and then like save like the positive stuff, stuff that I believe people would be looking forward to. Towards the end, it's kind of like bad news. You get the bad news first, so that way the good news kind of softens the blow. Basically, I don't know. That's what's my philosophy. But if anybody's looking forward to, or was looking forward to, the Blade, the Blade movie, the movie that's been in pre-production hell since I don't know when. I mean, I think it was announced. I think originally it was supposed to be part of Phase 4. Then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna push it to Phase 5," and that just nothing has materialized of it. Since then, it's writers were brought on, they left. Director was brought on, left, and like just basically it was musical chairs with writers and directors and so forth. So it's been a long time since they announced it in 2010. Yeah, I'm saying like it's supposed to be part of Phase 4. And now it's saying Blade's fate in the MCU just received some bad news, then some good news. Well, we'll see. So basically, the rumor mill is going around, and that it's like everything is just unraveled. So no more Blade movie. No more Blade movie. Right? But following an endless number of delays, industry insider Jeff Schneider revealed on the Hot Mic podcast that Ali's, the guy, what's his name? How do you pronounce his name? Mahershala Ali, who was tapped to play Blade, to take on the role in the upcoming Midnight Suns movie instead, a team up with several other supernatural allies such as Ghost Rider and Moon Knight. So basically, no solo Blade movie, if this is true. No solo Blade movie. Let me just like zoom in so you guys can see. No solo Blade movie. An ensemble movie. Basically a team up. Now, I'll admit, if I were at all invested in the MCU, I would be piqued. My interest would be piqued because of Blade and Ghost Rider. All right? It'd be primarily because of those two. So, I don't have any hope for this movie, and hasn't even been officially casting hasn't officially even been announced, and I have no hope for this movie whatsoever. A lot of it is. I think a lot of it is because I'm really not seeing any hype for Avengers Doomsday. Now, I'm not saying that there's none out there who's looking forward to it or anything like that. So, all right, I just knew it's been a while. It was supposed to be Phase 4. I'm not saying there's no one out there that's looking forward to Avengers Doomsday, but I just haven't seen any hype for it. And you would think for a big Marvel movie, all right, what Avengers Doomsday is supposed to be, I would imagine that I could not escape it. I'd imagine I could not escape it. Going on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and seeing all speculation, seeing fan theories and this and that posts. I I haven't even accidentally stumbled on any of that. Well, I think partly, yeah, part of that was that. But Fantastic Four didn't do that well. It was a mid movie. It was like, the cast minus Pedro Pascal was decent in their roles. The plot was okay. But even as mid as it was still more entertaining than Superman 2025. And what was I going to say? No, but it didn't do well. It didn't do well. And I think Marvel Studios has lost some goodwill with the fans. And the reason why I say that is because, well, of the quality. Partly because of the quality that we've seen since Phase 3. It has gone rapidly downhill and so forth. And then you have that combined with having people need to not only watch the movies, but watch all these various shows. So, and read these comic lines, these comic storylines, and so forth, to understand what's going on. Now, I'm saying, it's like, I was surprised by Fantastic Four 2. I thought it was going to be shit. When I say it's mid, I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad. I'm saying it was a decent generic superhero movie, basically. It kept it simple with the semi-origin film with the characters. But I did say it was a lot more entertaining than Superman 2025. All right, it's just, I think if they had tweaked certain things, basically, it would have been much better. But it wasn't bad. Like I said, it certainly was better than Superman. And so, I'm seeing this. All right. Now, I also agree with, again, that having this guy show up as Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine, and a relatively iconic line that there's only one Blade, did not help the MCU Blade movie. I'm going to disagree with you there. I don't think he was a good Reed Richards, and I'm not coming from my dislike of Pedro Pascal. I'm just coming from watching and growing up with watching the Fantastic Four series, and I don't think he was a good Reed Richards. He wasn't horrible by any stretch, but not a good Reed Richards. The one in the original Fantastic Four movies from the early 2000s, how do you pronounce his name? Ian Griffith. He was a good Reed Richards. Pascal, no. He had, I don't remember any variation in his face. He always looked like he was trying to remember his lines, worried, am I going to screw this up? I'm like, can you show one other emotion, please? On your face, at least. I know what you're supposed to be feeling in this scene. I'd like to see it. I did not see Fan Four Stick. I did not bother with that movie. And I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, so if you're looking forward to the Blade movie, from what I am seeing, no. You are not going to get a solo Blade movie in the MCU. At best, you'll see him in an ensemble movie, The Midnight Suns, with Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, and other characters. So, but anyway. So, like I said, if you're looking forward to that movie, sorry, nope, not gonna happen. The only way I would look forward to if they repurpose it with Snipes is if we had, like, when I say prime Blade, I mean like old man prime Blade. All right, like he's kind of taken on the role of, like, he's still Blade, but if you want to kind of do a movie where he's also like, Blade, but kind of also passing the torch, basically, like have him like, this Blade, but also throughout the movie gradually taking on the role of like a Whistler role. You have old man Blade, right, who still fights. He can still hold his own. He can still fight, basically fight vampires. But have him also like gradually like, like kind of more, when I say morph into the Whistler role, I mean like he's taking, like a younger vampire hunter under his wing. Because I don't mind movies that show like, passing the torch. I mind them when the torch is passed and that the new character has done nothing to deserve it. Nothing to deserve, basically, people liking them without putting any effort into the characterization, basically. Because most movies now, yeah, you get past it to Mahershala Ali. I'm saying, like, it's like I don't mind passing the torch movies. It's when the torch is passed to a character that we're told to like and not shown we should like, basically. That's a problem I have. So I'd be perfectly willing to watch a Blade movie where it's like final time, Snipes' his Blade, basically he's passing the torch, but you grow with the new character also. All right? To the point where Blade morphs into the Whistler character, and so forth. And then if you want to continue with the new character, fine. But, do it with grace and respect to the existing Blade character. That's what I would do. And which, I think the first Blade was supposed to end with Morbius, end with like, showing like, Morbius as being part of Blade 2, or is it 2 into 3? But I want to say it was first one, but it's supposed to be Morbius moving forward, and then they never got the rights to that character or something like that. It was one of those like I think rights issues thing, if I remember correctly. They couldn't, so they were unable to use him in the second one. I think the second one still worked, but they were unable to use Morbius. That would have been interesting to watch. Hell, you want to bring Wesley Snipes back and so forth? Redeem Morbius. Also, have him be the big bad. Redeem Morbius. I'm saying, like, you want to get butts in seats? Bring back Snipes' Blade. Do a respectful passing of the torch. All right, because I don't see Wesley Snipes continuing at least much continuing in the role of Blade. But if you want to like pass the torch, fine, but do it respectfully. Redeem Morbius. Yeah, don't use Leto. Like actual Morbius. Hey, Alex. You can. I'm like, Marvel, hire me for ideas. I will help you put butts into seats. There it is. Like that movie right there, with good writing and good storytelling and good action scenes, would put butts into seats and would like make people, I think, excited for another Marvel movie down the road. But we're not getting shit like that. We're not. Does Marvel even have a game plan anymore when it comes to the phases? No message, just story. No, I won't help push a message. If they want to put messages in there, I'm walking away. Just story. I'm just saying, I'm not seeing any plan, any cohesiveness whatsoever. Now, I wasn't exactly a fan of even the first three phases of the MCU, but there were decent movies. There were like good, decent movies within the first three phases, and they built up to something. But since Phase 3 ended, and began like Phase 4 and 5 or whatever phase we're in, can anybody tell me what's going on? Can anybody sit down and, clearly and succinctly explain to me the MCU? I don't think anybody can. Because I'm not seeing any rhyme or reason with that. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, I'm just saying. There was no cohesion, nothing. You'd have one show, and then the next show would contradict that, and same with the movies. You'd have a setup here, and then it could be completely ignored, or whatever, and then the next movie, or whatever. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, with this, Thanos should have won. Period. Thanos should have won. Just like snapped half the population. That's the end of Marvel movies. Move on. Yeah, I'm pro Thanos. That's what it should have been. That's it. Oh, you were hoping for a happy ending? No, you're not going to get that. No. So, but anyway, initially the MCU stories were good. Like the first, the Incredible Hulk, the first Captain America, the first Thor movie, first Iron Man movie, they all felt different. I did not feel like I was watching the same plot or the same beats in the plots. But ever since Guardians 1, it's been cut and paste with the plot beats. Right? Or like you have a heavy scene here, let's cut it with a joke immediately. Don't let the audience process it or anything like that. No. If you watch Ant-Man, all right? If you watch Iron Man and Ant-Man, same beats. Literally same beats. Like, pretty much they took the outline of Iron Man, tweaked a few things, and made Ant-Man. And it hasn't worked. So... Oh, like, visually it was great. If you actually think about plot elements, it made no sense. Like, for example, how did the Winter Soldier know where Fury was going to be during that chase? Like, how did he know where Fury was going to be? It's a chase. How did he know what street to be on? Because he wasn't in a car or anything like that. How do you know where to be? You can't even say inside job because that was a chase. It's not like he was just driving somewhere. He was being chased, and when you're being chased, you're not going to go the route you were planning. You're going to try to lose whomever's is after you. So how do you know? So I'm just saying, if you think about it. Oh, Dad, I'm so going to look forward to physically assaulting you. And I'm sure you can look forward to me physically assaulting you as well, since I had that Cammy cosplay. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So MCU side, let's talk about another upcoming comic book movie that I don't see being successful. He'll definitely like it. He'll definitely like it. Where is it? That I like another comic book movie, I should say, that I don't see being successful. And that is a new Supergirl movie. For multiple reasons. One, is there any anticipation for this movie? Is there any anticipation for this movie? I mean, Superman lost money. No matter what the shills say, no matter what the sycophants say, Superman lost money. Warner Brothers was not truthful with the production budgets, and they were conveniently quiet when it came to the marketing budgets. All right, so if the production budgets was $300 some million, and you take half that, right, which is typically the rule of thumb for marketing, which would be $150+ million, right, which would take us into the $350 to $375 million range. The movie had to make $1 billion just to break even. No matter what people say, it did not break even. It barely crawled across 600 million. Let's be honest. It barely crawled over 600 million. It took a long time to get that. Much longer than it should have. Much longer than it should have. So. It stands between Toy Story 5 and Minions. They are fucked. But also, the reason why they say they're fucked is because of this. Says the DCU film is based on the Tom King book, but doesn't follow it religiously. Just having it based on anything from Tom King is basically a nail in the coffin. It is a nail in the coffin. You think that's hot? She looks like she's still a teen. She still looks like she's still like a 13, 14. How old is this actress? If you think that's hot, fine. I don't. I don't think she's hot at all. Didn't Gunn also say that the DC universe itself is overly difficult to create since they won't just buy old stories? I think that if he said that, whatever. But me personally, I don't think it's overly difficult to create, because even if you are not exactly adapting certain stories, you can take those stories. Those stories are foundations to work from. So I don't think it's overly difficult to create. I think they just don't want to put the effort into it. All right? Because they want to basically just adapt an existing story because someone else has already put the legwork in. Someone else has already written the story. And they just want to, go the easy way. So it's one of those things where it's like, I think they could be original or fairly original because the foundation is there. It is there. They just don't want to put the legwork in. They just don't want to effort at all. All right, the foundation for Batman is there. You don't have to show his parents dying. We know that's going to happen, but the foundation is there. The psychology of Batman is there, and so forth. The rogues, the gallery of villains is there. You have the foundation to work from. All you need to do is come up with a story. And they won't even do that. Nor will they use Batman villains outside of Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Riddler. Did I say Penguin? Joker, Catwoman, Two-Face, Riddler, Poison Ivy, Penguin. Basically those, all right? It's the reason why they use those villains is because even normies know them. Yeah. Hey, Keely. But there's Deathstroke. Yep. There's Man-Bat, Bane, and so forth. Mad Hatter. They ruined Scarecrow in the Nolan film. Scarecrow just became a MacGuffin. You can redeem Scarecrow. Scarecrow is an awesome villain. But they don't use those villains. They're right fucking there. Mad Hatter. Scarecrow. Deathstroke. Man-Bat. Okay? Those. Calendar Man. Calendar Man, all right? It's kind of like without the cannibalism, he's intellectually on par with Hannibal Lecter. That could be an interesting psychological Batman film. That could be an interesting psychological one. Actual Mr. Freeze, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger shit, no matter how bad Batman and Robin is. An actual Mr. Freeze who is genuinely a sympathetic villain. You could have him. There is so many. A proper Clayface. I know they're planning on that. But a proper Clayface. A proper Bane. An actual Talia al Ghul. Anyway, there's so much. There are so many within the realm of the Rogues Gallery of Batman villains, and yet for some reason they don't want to put in any extra effort at all to come up with a story with those villains. Green Arrow, you know what? Is it Dark Knight Returns? I think it's Dark Knight Returns, that comic story, where Green Arrow is actually a badass in that. He's like one-armed, but he's like, able to hit his targets. Like he's using like just one arm to draw the bow and the string and like arrow back basically. Because I think it's like they actually made Green Arrow a badass in that story. They could do that. No, I'm not saying he's not a badass, but I was like, holy shit. Because he's like one-armed and he's doing this. And it's like, why aren't we seeing this in the live-action adaptation? Not necessarily that story, but a proper Green Arrow. Why aren't we seeing that? A proper Green Arrow. We haven't seen Jon Stewart. That was teased in the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. Or it was teased because it was like a that like would have been part of the Justice League movie, but we haven't gotten Jon Stewart yet. So I think I did. So, but there it is. But anyway, so here's what it said about the Supergirl movie. Let's see. Where is it? Where's the quote? Let's see. So, after spending the entirety of its 8-issue run waxing poetic against the idea of dedicating oneself to revenge, Woman of Tomorrow concludes with Kara co-signing the unprovoked striking of a now repentant assassin, possibly to death, though it's left intentionally ambiguous, who had grown mad with repentance after the heroine subjected him to 300 years of forced Phantom Zone imprisonment. Right? But James Gunn is saying that it's more of a guide than actual set in stone Bible. And quite frankly, I'm not a fan of a cynical Supergirl. Am I against seeing her process, like real and like kind of process the loss? No. Like, it's going to stick with her. She's older than Superman. She's older than Kal-El. So she witnessed this all. Hey, Sergeant. So she witnessed this all. She witnessed, when I say witnessed, I mean, like, but she was old enough to process everything. But she witnessed everything happening. So it just made her just a tad different from Superman, where it's like she's a bit more, how do I put this? She's a bit more quicker on the trigger, essentially. She kind of like acts before she thinks, basically. But she's not cynical. All right, she's not cynical. She's not like I think there was a quote from the trailer, basically. Superman sees the good in people. I see the reality. Okay, hothead. Basically, and like, she's kind of like, just act first, think later. Basically. Not like, it's like not every time, basically, but she's like quicker, more quick. She's quicker on the gun to do something versus like Superman. More on edge with powers. It's just basically, so it's like, but she's not cynical. All right, it's like she processing what happened. Yes, right, but it does not make her go off to Red Planet Sun so she can get drunk or anything like that. Doesn't make her, again, say like, so I see the reality of people, basically. It's like, it's basically the reality means like, it's all shit. So, well, I know he's older because basically, here's how it works in the storyline. This is the storyline I know. Chronologically, Kara is older than Kal-El. All right, she's actually older than Kal-El, but her pod got suspended in space. All right, whereas Kal-El reached Earth. So technically, Kara didn't reach Earth until after Kal-El did. So basically, when you look at the two, she looks younger than Superman, when in reality, she's actually older than him. Yeah, I blame a lot of stuff on Tom King. I don't know how he still has a job or had a job. So yeah, so now we have an idea of what to expect with the Supergirl movie. And again, if you find her attractive, more power to you. I don't. I think she's not that attractive. If you were to shave her head, okay, I'm probably going to ruin this for a lot of people. But if you cut her hair down, she looks like Jake Lloyd. She looks like a young Jake Lloyd. Do you find her attractive? More power to you. I think she looks like a long Jake Lloyd with long hair. I'm looking at that face and I'm seeing Jake Lloyd. Come on, tell me you don't see that. Just put their pictures side by side. I'm telling you, that's Jake Lloyd. Anyway. So, good evening, Jam. But anyway, so if you were at all anticipating the Supergirl movie, that's what you're going to be getting. So, that's what you're going to be getting is with the Supergirl movie. You want to look forward to it? Fine. Anyway. Well, we'll stick with DC for now. My voice just broke there. All right. Okay, I have not read any of Absolute Batman. I can't even remember the last time I actually cracked open a comic book because it's, in my opinion, all gone downhill. It's been going downhill for like, a good while now. But, haven't touched a comic book. All right? Haven't touched any comic book. And this one here, like I said, this sounds just really stupid. Absolute Batman scribe Scott Snyder says readers really want stories that feel urgent and, quote, speak to the hardships that people are facing right now. Is that what you want, chat? Is that what you want, chat? You want to speak to the hardships you are facing right now? You want to be reminded of all the hardships you're facing right now? You want to speak to the here and now and not transcend decades? Well, I didn't exactly crack it open. I read it online. There's a difference. I haven't bought a comic since for a while. Well. This kind of reminds me of the line from Naked Gun 33 and a Third, where the one character's like, this place, talking to Frank Drebin, says, "This place will change you. I used to be white." And it's like a black man talking. And that's what that chat just reminded me of. All right. Yeah, he's the greatest detective, not an activist. But see, also people overlook the fact that he's also philanthropic. They always want to focus on the fact that he's catching criminals. All right, they always want to focus on like that. Like, oh, he's all about just throwing them in jail or throwing them in Arkham Asylum. He's not about rehabilitation. I'm like, first off, these criminals are not, they're not going to be rehabilitated at fucking all. Secondly, you're kind of like, he's calling him a Batman, a fascist and things like that because he goes after criminals. Well, let's also ignore the fact that he funds hospitals and libraries and schools and so forth. That he has charity funds and so forth. That he's very philanthropic. I don't think so. I think that's another one. I don't know. I don't think it's the one where he goes after MAGA types. I could be wrong though. But anyway, where's the quote? Where's he talking about exactly? So I do agree with him to an extent that, like, right here where he says about how, like, you do have to convince, like, you do have to convince DC with the pitch that this book needs to exist right now, like, be published right now. Basically, you have to convince them to basically put the money into creating a certain comic, creating a certain with a certain storyline. I get that. All right. But you have to know. We kind of have to know the market, like what will sell. But at the same time, it's like what I need to do. All right. For better or worse, like the Absolute Universe, what I'm so excited about with them is that they all feel really urgent. You might not like their politics, but they are designed to make these superheroes feel immediate and exciting and bigger than life, but in a moment that speaks to the hardships and the things that people are facing right now. That I don't agree with. That I do not agree with. Why is it hardships right now? You can have thematic hardships. And when I say thematic hardships, I mean basically like say gentrification. Or see what other types of hardships basically. social hardships that no matter what skin color you are, you faced. All right? But when I say thematic, I mean this is a story that could have been told decades ago, and it's a story that could be told decades, possibly decades from now. The villain will be Trump. And most writers don't have politics. I'm saying most superheroes don't have politics. The writers do. But they insert their politics onto the superheroes, which is why I haven't picked up a comic book in a long time. Because I don't care about the writers' politics, all right? Batman doesn't have those politics. Batman is all about protecting Gotham and helping Gotham. All right? He is psychologically scarred, yes. All right? But at its core, it's not about politics. It's about protecting and helping Gotham. All right? Again, I don't give a shit about what the politics that the writer has. They could be left, they could be right. I don't care. Don't put them in the comic book. And that's what we're saying here with this stupid comment from Scott Snyder. All right? Y'all want to be reminded of ICE? What's going on with ICE? Yeah, let's insert that into the comic. Yeah, let's age it already before it even hits the shelves. Let's age it right there. Boom. Because decades from now, no one's going to give a shit about that story because it's not happening. No one's going to give a shit about a story, the here and now of a plot if it's not something they can connect with at all. And I think most people can connect with hardships. All right? Just universal hardships. I'm just saying. Again, I think they can come up with original stories. They could conceivably come up with original stories, right? Whether it's adapting it to live action or not. They can. When I say they can, I mean if they were at all creative, and they're not. They're not creative. Because unless someone else has done the legwork for them, whether it's a story, whether it's a comic book story, or what have you, all right, they just don't want to put that effort in. Oh, you mean I actually have to, you mean I actually have to come up with the character traits of this character? I actually have to do research. I actually have to do this. I actually have to do that, so forth. They don't want to do it. Yeah, Batman wouldn't ignore looters. No, because looters are criminals. All right? Doesn't matter. If you're committing a crime, Batman stops you. Does he stop them all the time? No, because sometimes he has to go after the bigger fish because the Joker is behind it or the Penguin's behind it or what have you. So he tries his best to handle the lower level criminals, but sometimes he has to go after the bigger fish first that are behind it. But anyway, I thought that was kind of a stupid thing for Scott Snyder to say. So that's just me. That's just me. Especially like you said, that speaks to people now. No, you don't want stories that speak to people now necessarily, or you want this that speak to people whenever. Meaning that the story is going to resonate with people now, and it's going to resonate with people down the road. Because there are stories that came out decades ago that would resonate with people today. Because again, it was universal messages. It didn't matter if you were white, black, Asian, what have you. Everyone experienced whatever hardships were shown in those storylines. And those hardships are still going on today because politicians are fucking assholes. I think politics is bad on both sides. Anyway. Moving on. And if Steph pops in, we'll see if she has anything else to talk about. I'm probably not going to go until 10:30 because it's just me talking. It'd be just me talking for 2 hours. So I love you all, but my voice doesn't. So we'll see how fast I get through this stuff, and then if Steph doesn't pop in, call it. I'm just saying, it's bad on both sides. So, well, you're not going to be complaining. My voice is not liking me right now. Anyway, who's looking forward to this movie? Fucking ad. Can I zoom in here? Thank you. Okay, I might have to zoom out because these stupid ads. All right. Who's looking forward to this movie? The Hunt for Gollum. The Hunt. I do have water, actually. Look, and speaking of Lord of the Rings, not all those who wander are lost. But is anyone looking forward to this movie? This is a movie I just read on reading streams through Lord of the Rings. This is a movie that is based on roughly 2 pages or so, give or take, of dialogue in Lord of the Rings. Basically, it's more or less Gandalf and Aragorn just saying, "Oh yeah, we were tracking Gollum. But we lost him. The enemy found him. The enemy got information out of him. He got free somehow. And we found this out by catching him, blah, blah, blah." 2 pages. Roughly 2 pages. And then you include maybe notes and so forth. But that's it. That's it. This is a movie. Yeah, pretty much. This is a movie. Well, there's other news that they're in the process of finding a younger actor to cast as Aragorn. So they are in the process of finding a younger actor to cast as Aragorn. We've already gotten confirmation that Ian McKellen and Elijah Wood are going to be in this movie in the respective roles of Gandalf and Frodo. I just saw on Twitter that Elijah Wood has confirmed that more movies are not in the works, but like down the road, there should be more movies set in Middle Earth. This is not if this were a comic book line, all right, this were comic books, I could see that. But this is not. If this is anything like Marvel or DC, I could see that. But this is Tolkien. This is Middle Earth. This is not an IP that you can just milk. All right, for stories. That's why this is. Oh, what's it called? The 3-generation rule, basically. It's like the 3-generation rule. The founder, all right, you have the original legacy, the founder, in this case would be J.R.R. Tolkien, builds it. The 2nd generation, which would have been Tolkien's children, mainly fell on Christopher Tolkien, but Tolkien's children, all right, so Tolkien built it, right, the children protected it, all right, they cultivated it. 3rd generation fucking ruined it. It all goes downhill the 3rd generation, and we are seeing that right. The 3-generation rule play out right now with this, because who's allowing this to happen? Simon Tolkien. He's allowing this to happen. I agree with this right here. This is like Iliad and Odyssey level of story. Are there second age stories that could conceivably be adapted? Yes. But they don't have they don't have rights to the second age stuff. It's all third age. So basically, it's a rinse and repeat of stories we've already seen adapted to live action. There's nothing more that can be told unless you wanted to risk it and delve into the fourth age stuff, because that's the timeline in the appendices. And if you go off the notes and timelines in the appendices, you could conceivably do fourth age stuff, because technically that's within the third age books. That's when the third age works. So you could conceivably do that. But no, it's easier to just do shit that's already been shown or told. She's doing something else, and maybe she'll be in, maybe she won't. But like I said, we're seeing the 3-generation rule take place right now. We are very much seeing it take place right now. I am not going to watch this shit. At least I'm not going to pay for it. Let's put it that way. But yeah, Philippa Boyens, who also is part of the one responsible, along with Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh, for War of the Rohirrim. And how well did that one fare? Do I saw my book? Yes, I saw my book. Here, I'll show you guys. This is the Lord of the Rings book. All 3 stories in this. All right? War of the Rohirrim. Come on. You find the exact page. Of the story that was adapted. Oh, come on. Lost the... I'll show you how long it was, all right? Because of my lighting. It starts here. Right here on page 1065 of this book. It ends on page 1067. 2¼ pages. 2¼ pages is the entire story about Helm Hammerhand. 2¼ pages. And Helm Hammerhand wasn't even the fucking focus. He wasn't even the main character in what should have been his story. No, this bitch here, Philippa Boyens, along with Peter Jackson, he is not the one to thank for Lord of the Rings. That falls on Sir Christopher Lee. This is gonna be my rant for the evening, all right? Okay, so people were like, "Oh, Peter Jackson's involved. It's going to be good." No, The Hobbit is proof that without anyone reeling him in, it goes to shit. All right? Oh, yeah, his name gets said in the original trilogy. All right? It's in the story. But the actual story that they were adapting is 2¼ pages. All right? 2¼ pages of the actual story surrounding Helm Hammerhand. And he's not even the main character. He's not even the main character he was not even the main character in the animated film. No, these 3 assholes, Boyens, Jackson, and Walsh, created an entirely non-canonical daughter for Helm Hammerhand. Helm Hammerhand had sons. He had no daughters. He had 2 sons. I think he had 2 sons, but he didn't have any daughters. No daughters. No. Freya, which is not even a fucking Norse name. Or whatever the hell her name was. Pure fiction. Pure fiction. Not even canonical. Completely made up for that movie. Why? Because they had to tell a story through someone. Well, could have been Helm Hammerhand. Helm Hammerhand was the original One Punch Man. He was the original One Punch Man, alright? Because this dude, I'm not going to go into, like, the names and everything, basically, but, like, at this council, alright? No, actually, he had a daughter, but she was not named, alright? She was not named. Tolkien didn't even give her a name in the story. That's the significance of this woman. I completely forgot. All right, but this dude comes who's has this kind of like one of the leaders. All right, one of like the lords comes up to Helm and demands Helm marry his daughter off to his son. All right, pretty much demands Helm do this, and Helm was like, I'm not going to do this here. We're going to go outside, all right? It's going to just be you and me. Okay? That's what he says. It's just going to be you and me. I'm like summing it up. Goes outside, all right? And in the course of events, all right, punches this man, all right? And punches him with such force that this man dies later as a result. Oh, I believe it, Sandro. All right? So when I say Helm was the original One Punch Man, that's what happened. He's like, you are not going to come in here and make demands like that. All right? So we're gonna deal with this like men. Punches this guy. And the man dies. Dies later as a result. Yeah. But that's the entirety of the movie. So this man's son, all right, his name is Hera. Okay, but Greek, a fucking Greek name, not even Norse. Hera is a Greek name. Because that is the name of basically, it's Zeus and Hera, Zeus's wife. All right? And that's what basically kind of drives the other man's son to wage war against Helm Hammerhand. Like, basically, the internal conflict that happens in that region, right? But the focus is still on Helm. The focus is still on Helm because during the long winter, there were no Oliphants. That shit. Edoras, basically, Meduseld, basically that building, all right, doesn't burn. They showed burning in the trailer. That never happens. Wolf, the man's son, he takes it over. All right, he claims that as his kind of like his command center, so that place never burns. Right? For those who do not know what Meduseld is, it's where, if you're watching the Two Towers, it's where Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Gandalf go. That building to see Theoden. That's Meduseld. All right, that never burns. Edoras never burns. All right, it's taken over. It's taken over by the enemy, but the enemy never burns it. They show that burning in the trailer. So that never happened in the story. There were no Oliphants in the story. They had to show the Watcher for some fucking reason. I don't know why. The Watcher is that creature in the water when they're going into the mines of Moria. They had to show that for some fucking reason. They had to show Saruman receiving Isengard for some reason, or getting Isengard. Why? Who the fuck knows? They just wanted to use Christopher Lee's. They just wanted to use dialogue recorded previously by Christopher Lee because that gets butts and seats. Did not need to see it. It's not even part of the original story. All right? It's never a part of the original story. And in the long winter, back to the long winter, all right? Helm, because his people are starving and things like that. He goes out each night, all right, with no weapon, because in his mind, if he uses a weapon against the enemy, then a weapon can be used against him. So if he goes out with no weapon, all right, no weapon can be used against him. And he creates such havoc within the enemy. Like he takes out men, bare hands, takes out men. All right, takes out the enemy to the point where the enemy thought it was a monster. The enemy thought it was a creature, and it was him. Helm was doing it. Like he was going out, no weapons, and like sneaking into enemy camps and doing that to the point where they thought it was like a creature. And he died standing up, basically. So when basically that he died standing up. So when he's seen the next day after one of his incursions and so forth, he's standing, dead, but still standing. That is Helm. That should have been the main character. The story should have been told from his perspective, if you're going to tell from anyone's perspective, and not like a omniscient or omniscient kind of basically told from no one's perspective, just telling the story. So yeah, that's Helm. But the hunt for Gollum. Yeah, we absolutely need to see Gollum again, don't we, chat? We absolutely need to see him again. Did Andy Serkis do a phenomenal job as Gollum? Yes. He did. But we know what happens. We know what happens. He's tracking down the ring. He knows enough information to know Baggins and Shire. So he knows enough to start tracking the ring. All right? Then he's captured by the enemy. Tortured. Gives up the information. All right? And it's not clear whether or not he escapes or is set loose. Chances are he was set loose because the enemy doesn't need him anymore. Now the enemy knows the information. And so, and that's how Aragorn and Gandalf figure out that, oh shit, the enemy now knows. That's it. That's the entirety of the story. But they're saying it's a strong psychological interior story. And I want to know what the fuck that means. Does it mean at its core it's a strong psychological story? What the fuck? Who uses interior? Is that what it means? I don't know. I know I'm consuming alcohol, but I'm not buzzed. I'm looking at this going, who the fuck uses interior and not core? At its core is a strong psychological story. Is that what that means? And these three were the three behind the failure of War of the Rohirrim. Again, too many people thank Peter Jackson for Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, no. If The Hobbit is any indication, those movies are any indication, Peter Jackson would have fucking ruined the Lord of the Rings. Because there's rumors, that has not exactly been confirmed, but there is stories out there that in the original storyboards and so forth, Jackson wanted Arwen to show up at Helm's Deep. Okay, it's breaking lore enough having the elves there, because the elves never showed up. Alright, it's breaking enough lore there for the elves to show up, as cool as it looked. But he wanted Arwen there. Christopher Lee is the one we have to thank for Lord of the Rings. So basically it means that it's basically going to be a travesty. It's purely studio fiction. And we don't know the beginning and necessarily the beginning and the end. Well, we know enough of the story to know what happens. We don't need to see it. It'd be like watching a movie all about the Ents searching for the Entwives. Just for us to know the ending is that they never find them. I love the Ents. But would you all watch a movie about the Ents looking for the Entwives? Maybe, probably over this movie. But that's what that tells me. We know we know they lost the Entwives, and we know they never find them. We don't need to see a movie about that. But anyway, yeah. So, and according to Elijah Wood, there's more movies planned for down the road. So yeah, it says The Hunt for Gollum is the first of 2 new live-action Lord of the Rings films. So yeah. It's slated for a December 17th, 2027 release. Oh yeah, War of the Rohirrim. Hey, they pointed this out. It bombed at the box office. It didn't just perform badly, it bombed. War of the Rohirrim bombed at the box office. Why? Because actual Middle-earth fans, actual Tolkien fans. I don't say Lord of the Rings fans. I say Tolkien fans. Because Lord of the Rings fans, they're the ones who have just watched the movies. And I'm not saying that as a negative, but when you say Lord of the Rings fans, that tells me you just watched the movies. But a Tolkien fan would look at that trailer and go, what the fuck are you doing? And what? What the fuck are you doing? That's how I looked at it. So, now if they want to, they want to. If there's one thing that Tolkien has over other authors, it's longevity. So, if one thing Tolkien has over other authors, it's longevity. And speaking of, what do you all think of this? Now, this is not confirmed, so this is not anything where it's like it's definitely down the road. But we have a new third-person action game set in the Lord of the Rings universe. Okay, I hate that. I hate that fucking phrase. Set in Middle-earth. That's what the universe fucking is. Middle-earth. Alright, set in Middle-earth is on the way, report said, basically. Aiming to compete with Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think it's Shadow of War 3. I don't think it's supposed to... I'm not getting the impression that it's that. A new Lord of the Rings game is in development and is a third-person action game designed to compete with Hogwarts Legacy, according to a new report. Well, if it's an open-world game, all right, because it's set in Middle-earth, it's open-world enough, that Middle-earth is enough to compete with Hogwarts Legacy, because Middle-earth is a lot fucking bigger than where Hogwarts Legacy was set. White orcs and black house. Hey, fuck it, do it. There is a pale orc. There's a pale orc in Middle-earth lore. At least one. Yeah, at least one. There's a pale orc. They're not all dark. They're not all dark. Alright? So, Middle-earth is huge. Middle-earth is huge. But Mr. X, I think it could sell. I think it could sell. Alright? If it looks like a good game. Because Tolkien is still loved. No, it's not the same team that did Legacy. No, it's not the same team that did Legacy. Embracer is the one that has the rights to using Lord of the Rings, like using that lore within games. So it's not WB. No. Yeah, so if they're going to do a game, it has to involve this company here. That's it. Well, I'm going to wait and see what the game is going to be. I'm not writing it off, but I'm just saying if it looks like a good story, if the gameplay looks good, if the graphics look good, if it looks like it's respecting what the world Tolkien built and so forth, if it looks like it's checking off positive things, then I think this game could rival Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not saying necessarily it's going to beat Hogwarts Legacy in sales, but I think it could rival Hogwarts Legacy because there are still people that love open world games, and there's still people that absolutely, such as myself, love Tolkien and Middle-earth. So if you check off the boxes, this could work. Now, I'm not like, but I'm going to hold off saying anything definitive one way or another because we don't know. Right now, this is speculation. This is pretty much rumor. We haven't seen any confirmation that this is going to be happening. It's just like right now, the rumor is there is a game in the works. We don't know for sure. And that's the aim. To rival Hogwarts Legacy. All right? Have not well. See, the thing is, there's only been have not fared well as of late. Yeah, Lord of the Rings Gollum was a shit game, but then you have Shadow of Mordor, or is it no? Hold on, where is it? I started playing it and then I had to stop. Middle Earth, yeah, Shadow of Mordor, and so forth. That was a good game. Shadow of War. And what I appreciated about those games is that the developers never pretended that they were at all like adapting anything directly from Middle-earth lore. All right, they were flat out honest. They said, it's like, yeah, this is not lore. This is a game. So have fun with it. So yeah. I'm just saying I'm not going to say anything one way or another right now. It could be good. It could be shit. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. No. So I think they want to rival it in terms of like scope. I think they want to like. So it's like I wouldn't know the cozy nature. I tried playing that game and I became bored out of my skull. I became bored out of my skull because to learn certain spells, I had to do a bunch of side quests that just piled up. No matter how much I completed, just couldn't progress. And so forth. I'm like, really? I have to collect this shit? I have to go to here? I have to go to here to learn a fucking spell at a school that I'm supposed to be a student at? I'm a decent gamer. Depends on the games, though. So but I think I'm a decent gamer. I'll be getting back to playing Borderlands tomorrow. But Middle Earth, it's like the thing is also the coziness of Hogwarts Legacy was that you only had like what Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and a generally open world feel, but it was relatively small in scope when you look at the map. Compare that to Middle Earth. I'm just saying, like if you were to do a Middle Earth game where you were actually exploring, that's a fucking open world game. I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movie games. I did. I played them. I have like fond memories of playing them with my siblings. Love doing that. So I'm just saying that this possibly could be a positive. I'm not going to say one way or another because, again, right now it's like early stages of the rumor mill churning. Basically, we have not seen any news of it other than this, not seen any confirmation either way. Well, that's what I would want to know, Mike. That's what I would want to know. How much of Middle Earth are you going to allow us to explore? Because Middle Earth is huge. Middle Earth is huge. Like, how far are you going to allow us to explore? Like, all of Middle Earth? That's a major open world game there. Can you are you relegated to like certain locations, like, you know, if you're gonna, like, you know, Mirkwood or Rivendell if you're playing as elves, or Moria and so forth if you're playing as dwarves, like Lonely Mountain and so forth. So I'm saying I want to see something. I just want to see some, like, more. Like, not just articles, but actual, like, visual announcements. This is what we're going to get. Don't remind me of that game. Isn't this a game where you couldn't even drink or something in it, even though you're hobbits and hobbits are all about drinking? I'm not saying that's all they do, but they drink and they smoke pipeweed. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm saying, isn't Tales of the Shires like one where you couldn't even drink or something? Like, you're a hobbit and, like, you couldn't even smoke pipeweed? Because God forbid you have, like, smoke anything with weed in the title, even though it's tobacco. It's like pipe tobacco. It's really what it is. It's not. We don't know. We don't know if it's a prequel or, like, during the events of Lord of the Rings or so forth. It's just that it's going to, like, that's going to be like a new Lord, like basically Middle Earth game. Yeah, no. Anyway, yeah. So, anyway, how about a couple of positive articles, chat? A couple of positive articles. A lot of eating, not much drinking. I'm saying, how are you expecting me to play as a hobbit if I can't even drink? There's literally a pub in the Shire or around the Shire called the Green Dragon. They drink. And when they get to the Prancing Pony, it's like, oh my God, they have pints. Because they haven't got anything as big as that in the Shire. They drink. Well, Tales of the Shire, I don't know. It's that MMO game or something. Is that the online one or whatever? Where you live in the Shire and it's kind of like Animal Crossing with hobbits. That's what I looked when I looked at Tales of the Shire. Like, that's like literally Animal Crossing with hobbits. So, or RPG, but basically it was contained, where it's like kind of a contained one. I don't know. I thought it was like, one where like you could, like, it was like a multiplayer one. Wasn't there one that was multiplayer online? Wasn't there one at some point, or I could be mixing it up with something where you played it online? It was multiplayer because you could interact with other players. You just want to poke the bear, don't you? That might be the one I'm thinking of. I knew there was one where you could play it online and interact with other people. But anyway. Alright. Now, I don't know what this adaptation is going to be like. But I'm thinking of seeing it just because it's supposedly Tony Todd's last film. Or maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it's like the last... one of his last roles. It's an adaptation of The Raven. So based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven will be released video on demand January 16th via Buffalo 8 Deadline has learned. Candyman and Final Destination icon Tony Todd appears in the gothic horror thriller, marking one of his final performances prior to his death in November of 2024. The Bay creator Gregory J. Martin writes and directs adapting Poe's narrative poems The Raven, Annabel Lee, and Lenore. Set in a dark and shadowy 1940s-inspired world, the film follows a grieving man's descent into madness mere hours after burying his beloved Annabel Lee. The appearance of a mysterious raven causes him to be tormented by guilt, supernatural encounters, and the fragile boundary between life and death. All right, as far as Christos Andrews from the Bay, Victoria Baldessera, Mike Manning, Ray Don Chong. She's still around? William DeVry, and Caleb Emery. So, I haven't watched the trailer, so I don't know what to expect. I just saw the news. It just says tuned for a trailer, so I don't know. This was 3 days ago. I don't know if there's a trailer out now. I haven't seen one. I haven't watched one. But it's video on demand, and I'm very curious to watch it and see what the adaptation is. I'm fine with it being a loose adaptation because that's what adaptations don't have to necessarily be a 1-to-1 ratio when it comes to adapting works. I understand some liberties have to be taken. Liberties were taken with Lord of the Rings. Plenty of liberties were taken with Lord of the Rings, but they did not deviate from the overall story. All right, like for example, one of the relatively bigger deviations from the books to the movies in Lord of the Rings. Hey, Phil. Was the fact that it was not Arwen that saved Frodo from the Black Riders. All right, it was not she. She never showed up. That was a character that was an elf prince named Glorfindel. But they chose to exclude that character and in its place have Arwen. While I don't like it, I can kind of understand the reasoning because Glorfindel is pretty much not seen at all the rest of the story. All right? Until like the very end. That's it. Like he has no real presence or connection to the characters, unlike Arwen with Aragorn. So while I don't like it, and I'm kind of with you, Mr. Milquetoast, while I don't like it, I kind of understand the liberty taken. So I'm curious to see how this adaptation is going to work out, given like the 1940s atmosphere and so forth, and the descent into madness, which would be an adaptation essentially of Edgar Allan Poe's works, because his works were pretty much just about madness. So we'll see. That's a little bit of positive. So if you like Tony Todd, which I do, I'm going to try to watch it. It didn't say in that article where it was going to be released. I'm assuming, I don't know. A part of me would be assuming Prime, and you'd have to rent or buy it. But see, the thing is, while I give 300 leeway, because it was based on a graphic novel, and the graphic novel itself wasn't accurate. So yeah, so basically I'm fine with that not being accurate because it's not based on the actual historical event, it's based on a graphic novel. So, I see you, Trey. So, I'm fine with 300. Yeah, I'm fine with that adaptation because it never presented itself as being based off the actual event. It's solely based on the graphic novel. So I'm fine with that not being historically accurate. So the Odyssey is getting shit. Or Nolan's Odyssey is kind of getting shit. But that's mainly for how the costumes look and so forth. I haven't really watched the trailer. Anyway, Godzilla Minus Zero. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I loved Godzilla Minus One. Absolutely fucking loved that movie. All right? Saw it like 2-3 times in the theater. Absolutely loved Godzilla Minus One. Now we have an actual release date for Godzilla Minus Zero. All right? So, per the Hollywood Reporter, Godzilla Minus Zero is currently slated to arrive in theaters across North America on November 6th. Japanese audiences will have the opportunity to catch the film just a few days earlier when it premieres in Japan on November 3rd. So I am very much looking forward to Godzilla Minus Zero. Right? Helmed by the returning writer-director Takashi Yamazaki, Godzilla Minus Zero will follow hot on the heels of the events of 2023's Godzilla Minus One, which saw the eponymous kaiju failed before beginning to regenerate as it sank to the bottom of the ocean. Alright, so Godzilla Minus Zero will feature appearances from returning stars. I'm not going to try to pronounce their names, but he plays a former kamikaze pilot, basically the lead, the focus in Godzilla Minus One. Alright, so returning characters. But we don't know the story because it's remained tightly under wraps. So, what can we expect from Godzilla Minus Zero according to the creator? Back in February 2025, Yamazaki discussed the scope of the upcoming sequel, noting that Godzilla Minus Zero has a more substantial production budget than its predecessor. Yamazaki also stated that fans can rest assured knowing that no generative AI was used in the production of either film. It is a very capable assistant or tool as it stands right now, but it is not at the point where it can take center stage and generate what humans can. So yeah. But yeah, I am looking forward. It is my anticipated movie, or one of my anticipated films of this year. Now that I know the official date. Now that I know the official date, I can say day one, November 6th, I'm seeing this movie. See, the thing is, I don't think it'll be buried. Yes, a Hunger Games movie is coming out. But how well did the previous Hunger Games movie do? So how well did the previous Hunger Games movie do? I don't think it's going to be buried necessarily. Will it do as well as the first movie? I don't know. That all depends on the movie itself. All right? But I don't think it's going to be buried by a Hunger Games movie, just because I don't really see any anticipation for the upcoming Hunger Games movie. So, well, this hasn't been any indication that there's any other kaiju, so we'll see. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So not quite 2 hours, but I got it close to 2 hours. So, and I'll be finishing this, pouring it in my glass, and finishing this after the stream. Where's King Kong? We've had enough of Kong Godzilla team up. We've had enough team up of Godzilla and King Kong. Yeah, we don't quite need to see King Kong again with Godzilla. I'd rather just have a Godzilla sequel. No Kong. So yeah. I know they're doing another team up within Legendary Pictures. But within this, I don't want to see Kong. You know what? You laugh, Sandro, but I would love to see a Godzilla and Jet Jaguar team up again. If any of you have not seen Godzilla vs. Megalon, you're in for a fucking treat. I want to see Jet Jaguar. I want to see Godzilla and Jet Jaguar team up again. That's what I want to see. So you joke about Ultraman. I want to see Jet Jaguar come back. I want to see that. That would be a trip. That would be a trip. Yeah, I've seen the Space Godzilla as a rumored villain based on the leaked information that's come now. That the speculation is it's Space Godzilla, and I love how I kind of had to do give Steph a little lesson on how Space Godzilla is a villain, because she was thinking she saw Godzilla. I remember the stream. She saw Godzilla and thought, "Oh, Godzilla and Space Godzilla. There's gonna be a team up. So who's gonna be the villain?" And I'm like, "No, Space Godzilla is the villain. Like he's not a good guy." Oh, I know. I'm saying it's I would watch it too. I want to see it, but I want to see either that or Jet Jaguar. And for those who don't know, hold on. So it's this team up right here. This robot here, Jet Jaguar, is actually smaller and somehow figures out how to grow to the size of Godzilla and teams up with Godzilla to fight against the enemies in Godzilla versus Megalon. Right, because it was where is it? Let me show you. It's Godzilla, Jet Jaguar, Megalon, and that's Hedorah, right? Hedorah? I can't remember. Knife Hands. So, because... Or Gigan. Sorry. Because I couldn't remember. I just remembered Knife Hands, basically. Because he's, not the main villain in the movie. He's not the main bad kaiju. It's this one here, Megalon. But my favorites, in terms of the Godzilla bad guys, bad kaiju, are Rodan, Biollante, Destroyer, and King Ghidorah. So I love Anguirus. I love Mothra. Those are my two he teams up with that I like. Because I think he technically teamed up with Rodan in Godzilla versus Monster Zero. Because the aliens were going to use Godzilla. They lied to the Earth people and saying they needed Godzilla and Rodan to fight against King Ghidorah, who was attacking them. But then they controlled Godzilla and Rodan to basically attack Japan. And I think that's where Godzilla and Rodan kind of teamed up. Because they were being controlled initially. And then, there's, the control signal was disrupted. And they ended up teaming up against King Ghidorah. If I remember that correctly. Godzilla versus Monster Zero. Godzilla 2000 was decent, too. That was a decent Godzilla movie. But there it is. So, yeah. So I would love to see Jet Jaguar return. That's that little segue. It was just me saying I'd love to see Jet Jaguar return. But anyway, chat. So yeah, not quite 2 hours, but I got close. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about. Where's my bookmarks? Not like extensively talk about, but congratulations to Indy the dog from the movie Good Boy. So Juan, best performance from the for his for his role in Good Boy. Now, to be honest, I did enjoy Good Boy. It's elevated horror, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it overall. I went in with no expectations, and I think that's part of the reason why I was able to enjoy it. But I think the marketing is what is the problem, because they always market it one way, and it's never what the movie is. So I don't blame the people who made the movie. I blame how it was marketed. But Indy won best performance, and not gonna lie, if I had the opportunity, I would steal that dog. Because that dog is so fucking cute. He is so expressive. He is so fucking cute. I would steal him in a heartbeat if I could. It's like elevated horror. It's basically don't take it at face value. Don't take it as face value. And if you watch it, I think you'll understand what I mean by that. I told you guys I did streams in Wonder Woman bikini. I have it somewhere. But yeah, I did it. So, anyway, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for this unsupervised edition of Talk Nerdy to Us. You had my inputs on pop culture news, my rant, especially when it comes to Tolkien and Middle Earth, and some positive stuff to look forward to, such as the Raven adaptation with Tony Todd, one of his last performances, which I'm going to watch, as well as the release date for Godzilla -1 or -0. All right. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And two things I will remind Steph that she has to watch Strangers on a Train if she has not done so. I did that one for... I know I did one for Kick Subs. So if I get... $25 Kick Subs, I'll do another one. All right? I'll do another one. 25 Kick Subs, I'll do another stream in the Wonder Woman bikini. Oh, yeah. So, North by Northwest is going to be the ones. But I'm going to put together a comprehensive list for War Machine. Because right now... So... I'm just saying, because... Kick Subs would be the next time I get paid. So. Like, for this month. Because the pay I get for, like, Twitch and Kick is, like, for the previous month. No, Twitch and YouTube is for the previous month. So if you want me to do it, for next month, Kick is the way to go. But North by Northwest is another one I'm going to be recommending. Right now, she has to watch Strangers on a Train. That's her movie for this month, Strangers on a Train. The next movie I'm going to have her watch is 12 Angry Men. And I'm going to put together a comprehensive list, like North by Northwest, Rear Window, Lady Vanishes, 39 Steps, Vertigo is decent. Mildred Pierce, The Letter, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Stalag 17. Slightly more recent movies such as Airplane, The Original Naked Gun, Heartbreak Ridge, OG, The Original Psycho, Big Sleep. There's a funny story to that, kind of a funny story to that, because my dad My dad was notorious for tricking my mom. And he somehow convinced her before watching the movie that The Big Sleep was about, like, basically involved mosquitoes. Like carrying something that when they, like, when they started feeding on you, you'd go to sleep or something. It's like something weird like that. And so they watched the movie, and my mom's like just like wondering why there was no mosquito in sight. So yeah. Something like that, yeah. But he convinced her, like something like that. And so yeah, but The Big Sleep, Maltese Falcon. I probably have her watch Maltese Falcon first before Big Sleep. And so forth. I did say, like, at least the first Thin Man movie earlier. So at least the first Thin Man movie. Those were I liked those. But there is a lot. Like, I'm going to have such a comprehensive list that there's no way she's going to get through all of them. No way she's going to get through all of them. So yeah, but anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be on, unless anything changes, it'll be on her channel next week. All right? So, she doesn't do well with body horror, and technically The Fly falls into that category. She's not really a fan of body horror. She's not really a fan of horror movies in general, but she might be grossed out by The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. It's a good movie, but she might be grossed out by it. Hey, Steve, I'm wrapping up. But thank you for all showing up. I hope you enjoyed the replay, because I'm wrapping it up here. It's been going on 2 hours of me just talking to you all. So we'll see, Golden Fox. We'll see. But it's supposed to be on her channel. Hey, Damaj and I. It's supposed to be on her channel next week. And I will stay on top of her watching Strangers on a Train. Okay? But take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you all on my channels this coming week for gaming streams, going back to playing Borderlands, reading streams where I am reading the first Halo book, The Fall of Reach, and watch parties on my Discord server. All right, so I recently did a watch party of 2 movies, one of which was called Found Footage, The Making of the Patterson Project, which I think is a decent horror comedy found footage movie, and The Thursday Murder Club, which I think is it sounds weird using the word charming, but I think it's charming whodunit murder mystery starring Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, and so forth, basically. Yeah, I'll find a way to get time to level up, because when you messaged me, I was starting my stream, so I didn't see your message. I'll figure it out, Trey. I'll figure out the genre for the next one. So we'll see. But I'll come up with a movie for a watch party, another watch party. So anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and I will see you all on my channels this week, starting with YouTube, Kick, and Twitch tomorrow with Return to Borderlands. Oh yeah, the top 10 this Wednesday. Top 10 2006 films this Wednesday with Steve Kenobi, right? Personal top 10 list, not necessarily objective, so you can agree with our list, you can disagree with our list, but if you want to join in, make your own top 10 of 2006 films for this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So take care, stay safe, and good night. Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Hey, just double checking. You cleared your calendar for dinner tomorrow night, right? I'm dying to go to that new place. Like, I can't. Oh, sorry. Dinner tomorrow, me. Yeah! Okay.
What?
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was close. Mara. Oh no! What is that?
Oh my god, are you okay?
Mara, what channel is the stream on?
Mine!
You rampant slag.